because we already have a huge difference. Supply depot, not on the wall for this purple Terran, Clem.
And of course, the bottom left, SpeCial. Did I get Indy? Well, no, he's zooming around for forever, so it's okay. I'm loving the picture-in-picture on the bases though. That's actually really nice.
Can we do simultaneous introductions?
Next game, we got it.
No,
we got to alternate words. So in the back and forth.
Wait, synchronize. So wait, no, you'd be like in
the
top
left.
It. There's no really interesting words here. Like the episode of Friends where they're like getting the voicemail set up, and then like Rachel keeps stealing all the good words. Another amazing cultural reference that I'm sure Behemoth understands.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's not like I grew up under a rock in the middle of nowhere. Not at all.
Anyways, so there was a joke, by the way, guys, for the very beginning. 2 minutes in, I think all we've said are jokes. But the supply depot actually can sometimes be surprisingly effective if you're really paying attention to the minerals and gas. Despite not being on the front lines, that is. And sometimes I do believe it does lead to one of the most, I think, aggressive T-Roxes possible. But that wasn't it. It's not what's happening here. So it's like a little bit more of a streamlined build and then into a command center off a factory expand, which we've come to expect in TVT.
Yeah, really, it's at the point where anything that's not that barracks double gas factory idea is just, oh wow, this is weird and different and interesting and novel and other words that mean new and exciting. But for this game, we'll see that SCV go down. SpeCial actually doing something a little bit different though, pulling a page out of Kira's book where he is reactoring out these Reapers. Now, normally you'd say, okay, I'm gonna build however many Reapers I want. Is it 3? Is it 5? And then I'm gonna draw the add-on. But by doing this, it means he can move into the next level, say Marines, just a little bit faster, and it allows him to hit these interesting timings where suddenly it's like, okay, that's actually a couple more Reapers than I would expect. But the question though is, CG, is it 3? Is it 5?
5.
5. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for that.
It is 5.
There we go. 2 more. Could be 7.
Well...
Probably not, but it could be.
You're not supposed to shut down your co-commentator. You're supposed to say yes and, but... No. No 7.
No, bad
Very
stuff.
Unlikely.
But this will be a more kind of aggressive opening from SpeCial right now, as he does go on to that 4th and 5th Reaper with the additional Hellions. So 5 Reapers, 3 Hellions on their way onto the other side of the map once these 2 Reapers they do complete. And Clem, he's kind of set up for it, right? He's gonna have the Cyclone up by the time SpeCial hits the other side. He got himself in a decent concave, and the Widowmine here just knocks down a Reaper, knocks down a Hellion maybe, and ideally gets a little bit more damage than that. So we're seeing SpeCial, yeah, he's committed to this more aggressive version, but normally we don't really see this get all that much, and the split is going to be okay, but still plenty of damage on that Hellion, and we're going to see all the Reapers go down Marines on the low ground. This is just not really getting what SpeCial wanted.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't. Split was at least a split, but that's still getting hit by the Widowmine kind of does the trick, honestly. As weird as that sounds, as weird as it can be, sometimes the Widowmine isn't enough. There's some weird maps where you can kind of circumvent it, but not usually one with a ramp. And then I suppose there are other openers and follow-ups that Clem could have been doing, or simply put, like, not a Widowmine at all, right? But then it's a little bit faster on the Cyclone anyways. It's been a while, basically, since I've seen the 5 Reaper, 3 Hellion opener actually do a lot of damage. Or necessarily give him a lot of map control, which I think can sometimes happen. But yeah, obviously not here, losing every single frontline unit. Getting a nice lock on though. Ooh. Okay, this could instantly turn things around. That is really nice. And then Clem's follow-up attempt with the Raven, not going to find any fruit. SpeCial, taking care of things.
A nice trade there from Clem, though, able to make sure that, yes, it was a Cyclone that he lost, but also he was able to get one as well. But at the end of things, this Raven, I don't believe SpeCial saw it. I mean, you know there are Ravens coming out 9 times out of 10 in this matchup, so not that really big, sneaky thing. But Zombie Grab, one thing we talked about in the break a little bit was this double starport Viking idea. And well, that's what's going to happen in this game too, is the Raven dropping into the main base here. How many Special's just not pulling as SCVs, so there's going to be 2 workers going down. It's actually going to be even more than that one. If he target fires appropriately, so 3 SCVs will die. And honestly, that could have been a lot worse. Good job there from Special to react, and more importantly, good job there from failure there from Clem to actually target the SCVs down.
Bad job.
Bad job.
Yeah, killed a Hellion. That probably wasn't the most important thing. But yeah, I was gonna ask, did he see that second starport? And the observer knew exactly in my head. He did. So Clem already is going into a second starport. I think as soon as, maybe even slightly before, like as soon as the Raven harassment, yeah. As his is finishing up. And that puts us in a really fun scenario, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying fun seriously or not, but we don't usually see necessarily just right off the bat both of them doing this. And I would say that it can encourage a longer game, but I actually feel like the last time I saw this happen, one person really did just take a better fight, and that was it. I was like, okay, I guess this isn't going anywhere. So who's that person going to be? We will see. Special takes a very greedy third on location, kind of because he has to.
Yeah, now there is a slight difference in the tech here. Yes, both players going double starport, that much is true, but especially he did commit to that third Raven, and Clem did get into Viking production just a little bit faster. So more tech, more shutdowns, more ability to maybe take a fight from Special, but as the Viking count continues to increase, I mean, +1 Viking might as well be infinite Vikings as Hellions into the natural there, and the SCV pull kills a Hellion. It's not what we see all that often. There's EG.
No, but it works out. Special can focus on things that matter, which is absolutely this front push. So for Clem, you know, if he was able to get a Viking lead before Special reinforced, he really would have, wants to use it to start picking off some of these units. It is pretty close on that Viking count, and the Ravens obviously add a lot of complication for both air and ground. But if Clem can start using the range, maybe get some more focus fire, basically control the scenario, then Special can't really just blitz on top of the army, which is usually what someone with Triple Raven wants to do, exactly like this. I gotta say, though, as far as blitzes go, it's not very promising for Special, not at all. Oh, it's a bit of a disaster.
Yeah,
oh my
well,
gosh, it's a true disaster. Which does make sense, by the way, guys. This is actually not a surprising tap out, but I guess in the context of Special Clem, you know, how hype it's going to be, okay, well, that was actually quite fast. That was one-sided, and once again, this double starport v double starport thing does just end the game dramatically in one direction. Which is almost, like, if I said someone theoretically, what would you think would happen here? I don't feel like that's what people would say, but absolutely. Special, very late to his third CC, losing his only advantage, really, which was all those Ravens. There was no playing out that TBT.
Yeah, just purely because of the macro there. Clem was sitting up, I think, 10, 12 SCVs as the game ended. But it's one of those things where this build, we've seen it be rather good in the hands of other Terran players. All right, Kellizer introduced this to Special, at least it felt like he did in DreamHack Latin America. He won a game with it, looked good. But I've seen Special do this, I want to say 5, 6, 7 times now. And I think he's 0 and 7 or 0 and however many times I've seen him play it. He says, this is a great idea. And then everyone says, okay, it's inside and out Special. You're going to do this build. We're going to deal with it. And you're not going to get the value you're looking for. So happened again, but it's not going to be inside and out map 2. So that means maybe we're going to see something a little different.
I would hope so. And that's what I expect. Because I do really highly respect Special's amount of builds and how clever they can be. To be honest, I'm not sure how that one is supposed to work out flawlessly. Just because we think of the scenario that was possible, let's throw out one. Okay, maybe his opener is a bit better. How much better can it really be? I guess in a very topsy-turvy world, it's really, really good. But then the follow-up, of course, if Clem doesn't get his own starport, that drastically changes things. But as soon as Special was kind of figured out with what he's doing, as you've been saying, how does it work? Which I'm sure if we talk to Special, he would have an exact layout plan, but it has just not happened so far, and that sometimes happens to the guy. We're talking about this guy in the top left. We're not going to do simultaneous intros. It is TeamLiquid's Clem.
Oh, poor Indy.
Tried
and we considered it, and they gave us the picture-in-picture, so that worked. And in the upper right, of course, we have the Terran down 1 in the gold for Psystorm. His name, of course, Special.
gonna try and get away with a 1-Rex expand.
Getting a little greedy here on Stargazers, which, I mean, I guess you can do. It's not the shortest map, but also that rush distance natural to natural through the top side. It's kind of spooky.
I mean, it's a little sketch, but considering that if he does take the back base, which 50-50 on his plan, actually. SpeCial has done 1-Rex expands on maps that don't have a back base. I mean, that was all last ladder map pool. Surprisingly difficult to say. So I actually think that he might just go and take the regular one, I guess, if you will. But anyways, the rush distance, I don't think it's so much problematic as it is just the idea that Clem could be doing a 2-Rax, right? Which kind of is the reason the map works out for this, which is that it would not be the best map for a 2-Rax Reaper. There's only really one possible hop-up spots, and then not nearly as abusive of a back and forth left and right as some other maps. So I think that's why SpeCial believes he can get away with it. And as far as Clem's factory opener maybe hitting a little harder in his natural, I think SpeCial might just get like a bunker and really take care of things that way. And then the only thing he has to worry about is the hop-up spot, which I think is doable.
Ooh, Clem, he sees something here. I think he got the first shot off, but of course, it's really hard to tell, so both players will give up just a little bit. But now that means Reaper inside track on the natural, but SCV runs away, plays ring around the rosy, finds his pockets are in fact full of Posey, and he will lose the Reaper. A great job there from SpeCial, punishing the Reaper from Clem, because you know what, ZG, we all know that song is kind of old.
Yes. Wait, was there a follow-up?
No, there was no. It was a bad transition. But anyway, second Reaper shows up here, and this is.
I thought you were gonna say it's kind of old and Clem's really young, so of course you wouldn't know shit.
no, it's kind of old and Clem's falling down. Ashes, ashes. Anyway.
Is that the rest of the song?
You know, ring around the rosy, pockets full of Posey.
And then.
Anyway.
Okay, you know what?
Ashes.
Let's just focus on this.
There we go. All right, so Reaper Hellion, a little bit of engagement here. The Marines, of course, they do not regen their health, but they have the high ground, so it's rather hard for Clem to get too much here. And notice SpeCial's really posturing himself outside of that natural. He does not want Clem to be able to dive in and start to really force him against the wall. He wants to be able to take advantage of this high ground. Hellion will barely stay alive. Nice micro there from Clem, but he's just not getting the aggression he wants, CG.
No, he's not, but I'm actually kind of surprised at what SpeCial is doing. You know, kudos to all the defense. Winning the Reaper battle, I think, already put him a little bit more at ease as far as other defenses go, in case it was a lot of Reapers, or yeah, basically that being one of the more potent options. But then we have the follow-up to that stage, which it could be a medevac drop, it could be a Cyclone, and what SpeCial isn't getting is a Cyclone. That's why I was a little surprised. We went 2 Hellion into a Wood of Mine. Then he gets a Cyclone, which still apparently is going to pair out. Yeah, actually, no, because it is close by air with these type of spawn positions. That's why I was a little bit worried. Is like, is the Cyclone not being here, right now, going to cause some problems? And it looks like with the 3rd CC on location, kind of, yes. But it really is only because 3rd CC on location. I don't think Clem can dive into the main base, knowing that there possibly is going to be a Cyclone. Oh, boy. That was sketch. That was sketch as... Ooh, that was scary. Cyclone in the natural, though. That's free pickings.
Yep, the age-old, the standard harassing a Cyclone in the natural, getting a couple of SCVs. Yeah. This is the common way that TVT does go, but you talk about sketch. Yeah, that was really scary for SpeCial on the north side. That base got very close to getting canceled, but he will be able to stay alive, right? And now his 3rd base is, well, not as faster as it could be, but still decently faster than what Clem has. But luckily for us connoisseurs of TVT, Zombie Grub, looks like we're going to go into the mid-game here pretty even. SpeCial's up 1 SCV. His 3rd base is a little bit faster, Army Spy a little slower, and Tech pretty well timed out. So, hey, mid-game awaits. Do you like sensor towers?
Not really. I'm starting to get more and more. I think it is Roddy who says that maybe they shouldn't exist. But I can't say that as a subscriber to Terran Weekly. I do wonder if Clem actually has an opportunity to do damage here. I think it's a limited time offer before SpeCial gets enough units and enough static defense, as well as it once again looks to be going into mech and then a lot of engineering or missile turrets out of the engineering bay. So this would be like the last time this medevac can try and do damage, and it was already so sketch in the pickup last time. Both the third CC being very low was sketch, and then also the pickup was sketch. They both have been playing with fire a little bit towards the beginning of this game, but it is looking to be very much 3-base CVT. So these tiny details, these single medevac harassment attacks, probably just aren't going to matter as much.
And they won, but Clem finds a nice situation here on the third base. Going to shell away at 2-3 mineral patches right there, but SpeCial runs forward, and of course, he does own the skies just a little bit. So it looks like, yeah, okay, good lock-ons on the Ravens, though. Forced back, they're out of vision, but that is just enough to force Clem back. The Vikings move forward, so SpeCial again, solid on the 3-base scenario, and as Clem commits more and more to try to break this CG, the scarier it does, of course, get for him if he's not able to get a lot done. I mean, SpeCial will continue to grow, and if he, again, he's not taking a lot of damage, that drop, ooh, that's barely staying alive.
Yeah, exactly. Oof. All right, then. What is Clem's scouting currently? So he saw a missile turret get propped up. He saw the natural, but did he see gases on the natural? He didn't actually see all the gases in the natural, so he might not know that it's mech. He might be very suspicious of it, of course. And he doesn't really have to, I guess, respond strongly until kind of his next couple of barracks. If those were his second and third barracks in reactors, that's fine, but fourth and fifth get reactors too, and then that's when it's really weird. So I am a little worried about that. Oh, and then SpeCial's actually going to do something that a lot of mech players, especially in the lower leagues, don't do, which is move out. And Clem is not going to be prepared for this. This Marine timing. Yeah, he's not going to know.
No, he doesn't. Wait, Zombie, you mean we're supposed to be active on the map? We're not just supposed to kind of sit there and turtle behind tanks until 200 supply? Well, SpeCial certainly seems to think so, as auto turrets get dropped on top of everything. The tanks are not yet sieged, neither from either player. And actually notice, SpeCial's not really sieging his tanks up. He wants to be able to get forward. Auto turrets starting to fall. Tanks getting great damage here. The Marines of SpeCial in this mech composition are actually doing so much here.
Yeah.
And SpeCial just breaks them. It's 1-1.
Yeah, GG, man. But as much as that was going to be... There was some question marks, you know, specifically about the mech thing. That was really that Marine just not doing its job.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to that high ground and then still not seeing the move out. Those tanks sieged, all pointed in the right direction, too. That was almost slow motion how the tanks siege, and then we're like, take our time. Okay. That's like such a different hold. It might still be a very clumsy hold, and Clem's going to be on the ropes, and he just wasn't expecting SpeCial to move out so aggressively in general, but I do think that he holds instead of just instant GG right then and there, and then on to game 3.
Yeah, so maybe a clumsy hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well. Now we're going to... we have a shorter map once again for game 3, and there's another map that SpeCial loves his 2-port Viking all-in. But, again, Owen X with this style. Is this something he goes for once again, or we finally going to see him not do that on a short map?
It would not be so out of character of SpeCial to do a thing that doesn't seem to be working when we get to cast it, and then finally actually works, and we're like,
oh.
Yeah. Because I do believe that's something that SpeCial has done in the past. He's a player who has a lot of different builds. I think he comes up with creative strategies. I think he likes playing around with new maps for sure. But I think in the past, he could be kind of constrained to a build, and you're just like, what's going on here? And then he finally gets his exact ideal scenario, and you can see kind of the brilliance behind it. So, you know, we can't, I guess, take out of account we have to take into account, I guess, that he's probably done this a lot of times in other matches, ladder, other open cups, bigger tournaments that we just haven't seen, and he's probably made it work. But I don't know. When Clem figures things out quickly enough, Terrans figure it out quickly enough, it does seem like there is a fairly good counter to it.
Yeah, well, I don't know, who knows? I mean, you have some really nice sieged up positions on Waterfall. You can own the cliff and then start to push forward. Kind of like what Inside and Out gives you, just slightly different positions. But who knows? I think the last time these two players played on Waterfall actually ended up going a fairly long game. I think it ended up going into that kind of mid to late game mech scenario that, again, SpeCial is so well known for. And you talk to anyone prepping against him, it's all, you know, how can I make sure I get enough damage done early, maybe, or, you know, find some way to beat it, because you let SpeCial go 15 minutes. It's kind of like Maru versus Zerg. Maybe not quite to the same extent, but still that, man, how do I break this guy? How do I beat down this massive mech army? And generally the answer is don't let him get there, but SpeCial doesn't always let that happen.
It's always the best answer. Just macro better and don't let them get there. It's probably what Clem actually has to do, to be honest. As that is the whole thing about mech getting good the later the game goes. We will watch the last map of this series of the day, but not of TSL, of course, unfold right before our eyes. Top right of waterfall, it is TeamLiquid Heron player Clem.
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 And of course, in the bottom left, in the gold, observers, can we see the top right? Thank you. In the bottom left, in the gold, taking game 2. It's special.
Boy, gold sounds a lot cooler than yellow.
Yes, but you cannot rhyme gold with hello, and you can rhyme yellow with hello.
That's true, but I don't know how many times I've had to do that in my life.
Oh, we can say hello in map 3 in the yellow. That
Yeah,
really
I guess
doesn't.
it's okay.
It's really bad, actually.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I gotta ask though. All right, as you watch Factory Expand via Factory Expand, what is your least favorite color?
Because
Because I would definitely go with yellow.
I'll go with, well, it depends, but like a greenish brown.
Really? Did you say green or brown or a greenish
No,
brown?
like a greenish brown.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, I think I can visualize what you mean by that. I think so.
Although even then, like you have a mossy earth or something, and then that's actually
Right?
rather nice. But
Yeah,
I'm
I think
thinking
that's
like,
nice.
yeah, I'm thinking like a putrid brown or something. Like you're walking through a swamp, and you step through the muck, and you find some mud comes up, and you're like,
Yes. Not a fan of swamp thing, I suppose.
I believe that's a movie, and it's also a reference. I can't pull a Captain America here. I don't get that reference.
That's all right. I like this color of yellow. I think it's okay, but I think yellow can get really obnoxious really fast. You know, I wouldn't wear a yellow t-shirt.
Well, get like the yellow on Stargazers. Like it's really bright yellow.
It is a rather bright map in general. I feel like in general this map pool has been praised for being, you know, kind of unique, certainly varied in texture and color. But I also think that a lot more people have come into my stream or come into the chat in this tournament, for instance, and been like, this is just really bright. Like, what the heck?
Which is funny because then everyone complains about Data C being too dark. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. It's just, it's the binary. So too bright, too dark, no escaping as the Reapers into the natural here of Clem, and they sneak right on by. So 2 Reapers delay the third base just a little bit, and then they run back out because they say, yeah, no. I'm not going up the high ground. It's too spooky. Honestly, I think they could have. I think there's only 1 Reaper on the high ground. The Hellions are not out just yet. There was maybe a little room to do the tango, but instead they're going to salsa right on out of there.
Clem's doing his Hellion Marauder opener, which I feel like is not actually his, but I feel like it is his one dedicated attack, let's say, almost all in that he does in this matchup. Since I suppose there's not that many in the 2-base variation, but yeah, he definitely likes it. I do believe Marauder Slow is supposed to start, though.
Well, there it is.
Oh, wow,
So,
you're like half a second faster than I am. Hopefully that doesn't impact your casting. But the point is, this build is on the way. Did SpeCial manage to see what has SpeCial seen? So, you know, seeing the tech lab on the barracks isn't really a big tell. If he saw it upgrading, I think that'd be a bigger tell, because usually you would expect a swap off into a starport, right? But I don't think he saw it. Yeah, he didn't see it upgrading. So, is he actually going to be positioned for this? I mean, you can't really change the units that you are already getting to handle this, but you can change the positioning of your units.
All right, so for now, Cyclone will see the Hellions right there, get good damage on one. One Hellion will fall, but here comes the Carpet Bomb. Marauders on top of things, making it so hard to run away. SCVs get pulled, and he just gets the Cyclone immediately. This is so bad for SpeCial in the game. Number 3 to determine who moves on. Now there's nothing in the natural to defend. 4 SCVs go down, Mules as well, and yeah, there's another Cyclone here, but you just got to get the slow up. Once again, Auto Turret will fall. Marauders still staying alive here. I really want to see Clem just drop on top of it once again, but that medevac CG, it's so low lock-on, gets it at the end.
Yeah, Auto Turrets specifically focus fired that. You really want to get that out of the equation. So a Cyclone could be a little bit more maneuverable, but it's still so scary against 2 Marauders that are full health, that have the slow. All it takes is 1 slow, and that second Cyclone might be dead, leaving the defenses of the high ground wanting, basically. He can actually break the high ground if that happens. So SpeCial knows how delicate the situation is. He's trying his best to make sure he doesn't just let the game go right here, right now. But he certainly has taken damage. He's lost some SCVs, which actually puts him on an even-ish. Still actually ahead, surprisingly enough, but the Command Center absolutely cannot go down. Oh my god. Oh, why though? Oh my god, that was the very last second possible. And I guess he might hold because the tank comes out, but Lord, SpeCial, playing with some fire.
I guess it was a bait, the whole stay there, lock on, you're going to get my command center. Meanwhile, he's waiting maybe one more round of reinforcements. He thinks he can make the hold happen, and not only just make the hold happen, but really punish the army of Clem. At the end of the day, I guess he kind of does, but now there's the Raven in the main base. SpeCial, for the most of that hold, actually, he found himself up 1 or 2 workers. Yeah. So, okay. We're still repairing it. SpeCial stop for a little bit. That's a lot of flames on that command center, but we're going to be okay. The game goes on. Somehow the game goes on.
Still not in a particularly good position for SpeCial, I would say, because even though he managed to keep a surprising lead in workers, eventually lifts the CC, the ultimate panic that had to happen to keep himself alive has put him down by 3. Still not the worst thing, but then there's the 3rd command center timing for Clem. It's already on the way. SpeCial not so much. SpeCial's Banshee commitments, while again might not seem like a whole lot of commitment, like, oh, it's a Banshee, what's a big deal, can get so totally destroyed, totally useless. And then, I don't know, with Cyclones, double Cyclone would have been nice to actually have some map control. No, he doesn't have that, right? So I do think that SpeCial is still in some trouble as he once again adds on that 2nd starport.
I mean, hey, he did beat back some of the tech there of Clem, and he actually really good scan here. He's going to see the army moving on the map just a little bit. I find, again, his economy is fairly decent, but it really just will all be about those 4 Vikings at a time, and Clem does not seem to know about it this time. He's only single starport. 3rd base is on the way. And that is exactly what SpeCial is looking for. He wants to go in, get those 4 Vikings at a time, build a significant Viking lead, siege up 3rd base, and put himself in a position as the Banshee finds its way into the natural. Couple workers will go down to start, but there are plenty of Vikings here, and with Ravens as well. I don't even think there is Cloak. So Banshee's going to run away, do what it can, but still, hey, 5 SCVs will fall. That equalizes the worker count. That's pretty nice for SpeCial.
That's actually a pretty good Banshee. Cloakless Banshee does 5 SCVs worth of damage, plus a little disruption as well. I think that's usually what SpeCial is even looking for when he goes for these kind of weirder Banshee additions, because it's certainly not an opener. I think that technically worked. I am still concerned overall for SpeCial, as his 3rd CC is quite a bit later. Clem's preparing to take his as he also moves out, so he's going to try and control the flow of the TVT. And he's getting his 2nd starport, so we're getting into that. But not nearly at the same type of pace, the same timing, really, that was the 1st game. So let's see if SpeCial can make it look good, trying to combat Clem's forces a little bit farther away from his own tanks. Kind of just gets his Ravens destroyed. I guess it's good enough, I guess.
I think this is exactly what SpeCial was looking for. If we look at the Viking count, it's 6-3. He knocked down almost all the air of his opponent. Yeah, there's a Raven there, but it's got full energy, so it still represents considerable threat. But now SpeCial's going to be able to rally across. He starts to own the dead airspace. He makes it so hard, Clem has to spend scans to make sure he sees what's happening, and he just don't have infinite scans. So the Vikings will run forward. Marines continue to fall here. The Raven runs forward, drops an auto turret, but that's not what you want. He was trying to disable those tanks. And now here we go. Clem running forward, unsieged, but the Vikings going to land on top of things. Here we go. This is what SpeCial wants. Tanks continue to fall here. SpeCial's army, the army supply is fairly even as the barracks landing on the high ground. Sure, just a little bit extra high ground vision. Vikings now, they're going to land. Another tank will fall. SpeCial feeling the momentum on his side here. The Ravens still fighting for. The Vikings still finding so much value for that 1 tank on the backside, sieged up, and SpeCial's building a Marine out of that barracks because that's the whole goal of this build.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting the barracks across the map, landing it, and then 1 Marine pops out to tank a tank shot. That would have been actually pretty epic had that been the case, but not so. As short as the map is, as much as SpeCial is trying to carry forth with the momentum, seems like he's just a bit shy of actually making it work, and that's why I was kind of hemming and hawing between about the engagement in the middle of the map. Was it quite good enough? And I think the jury is still a little bit out on that, but absolutely the point of the Viking control cannot be denied. TVT so important, bringing a Liberator forward. It's going to be brutal for Clem to deal with. He might have to actually give up his 3rd CC for quite some time, which obviously puts SpeCial in the driving seat economically as he continues to rally forth. He's not going to win this Viking war, so he's going to look maybe sack the Liberator. It's not going to work, though. It's actually going to get the tank. Really nice control so far from Clem. Really a very, very specific dance that Clem has to do to hold on, but I think his third C still has to lift.
Yeah, unfortunately, SpeCial had the Viking lead for the majority of that fight, but not the Viking lead on this side of the map. And SpeCial, we look at his SCV count, we say, okay, economy says one thing, but SpeCial has about 10 SCVs as part of this army. Now, as you said, third base is lifted. This gives the Vikings room to take a couple more pot shots, but the Viking lead, it's only 3, and again, with the defender's advantage, that means that it's really kind of equal on this side of the map. SpeCial can't just run his Vikings forward and start to shell away and shell away and shell away. But now, Clem looks like he's just moving forward just a little bit. Again, the Vikings continue that vision. At the very least, this has got enough damage to get us into the mid game. This is not one of those game states where SpeCial runs in, he doesn't quite get enough and he GG's out. No, he has a lot of pressure on the map, and as the third base lands CG, this is still very spooky for Clem.
I actually think that Clem is going to lose. Because I think the ultimate problem is that Clem can't recover from this state. He basically dedicated to playing kind of the exact same game as SpeCial, which is tanks and Vikings, right? But then he lost he lost his Viking war, which then ultimately lost him a tank war, even though it was a little bit back and forth. And then he's still going to just lose the Viking war. If he had gone into 5 barracks and a Stim and combat shields finishing, we're talking about severely different play styles. Like, things can be different because they are different. When we're talking about pretty much the exact same set of units, but one person has more, that is the easiest game to call. SpeCial wins this one.
That he does double the army supply. He's going to win that last Viking fight. At least they're going to trade out. There we go, killing each other. But it does not matter because, well, it does matter a little bit, but there are so many tanks on the ground. As you said, that third base, it's not mining. SpeCial's on 80 workers. He has his third base. He can get his fourth base if he want it. He's on triple starport now. No, quadruple starport. Excuse me. So many Vikings coming out every rotation cycle, every production cycle for SpeCial now as he finds his way into the natural, just slowly. The Boa Constrictor on Waterfall, trying to make sure that there is no way that Clem fights his way back in this game. And I agree with you, Zishi. I'm not sure that there is.
I don't think so, man. It's the last TeamLiquid player making it into offline TSL. Oh, boy. Clem probably very, very sad about this. You know, he can sometimes get a bit, bothered by a loss such as this. He really does not want to give up, but there's just no flexibility with the choice he made. The fact that he already lost out in the numbers war, and he does eventually tap out. SpeCial will advance on, play again tomorrow to see if he can make it to the Netherlands.